Nishant, you start with your introduction. I'll put myself on mute. I think it's for some reason when both of us are speaking, then it is echoing. So you get.
So, hello everyone. My name is Nishant, and I have completed my electrical engineering from Sri Ramdeva College of Engineering and Management in 2020. Later on, I had the opportunity to join Adani Power as a graduate engineer trainee. I worked there for almost 6 months, but due to certain family issues, like all those second wave of COVID and all hit us very hard. So I had to leave my professional career for a bit. And after all of those things were sorted out, I did a deep what you'd say uh, thorough check of the market situation and what are the things that are trending now. So after that, I found out that we can move towards data analysis and machine learning and all. So I hopped on to the train of Scaler, and apart from like from then only, my journey has been begun with the Scaler for transitioning into data science. And after that, I have been given multiple interviews as well as tests for data analyst, business analyst, as well as scientist position as well, but not able to crack all of them. Some of them I have cracked. So that's it as of now. And eventually in October 2023, I had the opportunity to join Clario as a data analyst, and I'm working there as of now. And this month only, I have given another interview with ZS, and that also I have cracked pretty well. And I'll be joining ZS next month onwards. That's it from my side, like a brief introduction to me, and I would like to move forward.
Great. Congratulations, Nishant. I didn't know about the GS transition, so many congratulations on that. I think before we go further, I think that is also one very important insight right there, that often people start thinking that the very first job that I get, that is all, right? But much more important is that if you build strong knowledge, then step by step you keep getting better, you keep growing into even better roles, right? What is more important, I think, is just getting started. For example, getting ZS to interview you might have been much harder before you started into the data science industry. But if you're already at a role, then getting kind of getting attention from other employers, etc., gets much easier, right? Uh, cool. I think, Nishant, one very interesting thing that uh, I think will be very valuable for a lot of people is your portfolio, right? That despite no formal education background in data science or even any prior job experience in data science, but you have built a really strong online presence, right? And I think mapping that to that whatever you were learning in the Scalar course, I think on a very high level, if you can tell everyone about that, what were the topics and subjects within your whole curriculum that you felt were most relevant, most important for your interviews and even at your job, right? Uh, and second is that how did you leverage everything that you were consuming in the Scalar course to build your online profile? Maybe if you could share your screen and show everyone your portfolio and your website, etc., that will be great. A lot of people posted this in WhatsApp group as well, that they also want to build such portfolio, but they don't know how to get started, right? That 0 to 1, that getting started is a mental block sometimes, and sometimes people need just that guidance, that how to get started. I think your guidance on that will be super helpful, that how did that portfolio help you at the first place, how did you build that, and how did you get started?
Manu, I would really like to shed some light on that. So I'm sharing my screen. Please give me a thumbs up if you are able to see it. Yeah. So first of all, what I would like to say is that getting into data science was like, as everyone feels like it's a bit tough to get into that, as the positions or the roles that we have, the ratio of roles that we have compared to software engineering is pretty low. So first of all, you need to build your online presence, as any data science project, or let's say a portfolio or a resume without a portfolio is can get ignored very easily. You need to have online presence so that everyone, let it be the recruiter or the manager himself who is trying to get into things or trying to learn about you or trying to get to know you, needs to see what you have done, what sort of skills that you have learned, and how you are going to move forward with it. So if you're all on the same page, please give me a thumbs up so that I can move forward, like telling about how we can build one, and then you can build the same of yours as well. So first of all, what I did was This is a site called as card.co, as you can see on my screen, a site named as card.co, which we can use in order to build a landing page for ourselves without giving much thought to it. Like there are readily available templates which we can use in order to create a beautiful landing page, which can be used to redirect the same as well for this kind of portfolios that is developed by a person named as Pascal. I've spoken with him, and this is a site that has built the datascienceportfolio.io, and it is very friendly and easy to use, which we can use to leverage what we have learned and put forth for people to see it. So first of all, if anyone is willing to build such kind of projects like a portfolio, there is a site card.co. Just go on it with it. There are readily available templates. If I can uh, share it with you. So it's just like that. Like if you go and create a new site, there are these readily available templates which we can you can use. Let's say we want to build a portfolio. So one of these only I have chosen, and just go forward with it and change all the formats that you want to change. And obviously, there are two versions of it. One is paid, one is free. So as per your convenience, I have used the free one only. You can make all the changes, and you can also embed the links that you want to put forward for it. And then you can eventually create a landing page such like this, where I have mentioned that like where I am working as of now and the skills that I have employed over there, along with a separate tab for data science portfolio, where I have mentioned that these are the skills that I have been using in order to create such portfolio or these projects that I have created. And also mentioning the education gives a better hand to them. Like this card eventually happens to be like represent you. So you have to put forth all you have got over there. Also, I have created another section here that mentions as certifications. So these are the certifications that I have got from Scaler. Apart from that, some are from HackerRank as well as LinkedIn. So even that can be used. And once you just once someone lands at this page, a recruiter or be it manager or recruiter, so they see and they like it's like creating your first impression. And as we all know, like first impression is the last impression. So this eventually helps you to get your attract the attention that you need from the recruiter or the hiring manager himself. So after there, if someone just goes through the portfolio link that I have created, pasted or embedded over there, so like the viewer sees all these projects that I have mentioned, and it ranges from SQL to Python and hypothesis testing as well. Most of them and Tableau as well. So most of them are published either on Tableau's public profile or the SQL ones are published on Google Docs, and the Python ones are either in GitHub or the collab that we have been using for Python projects. uh, I would like to dive deep into them, but I guess whatever I am sharing is useful. So please let me know. Abhimanik, would you like to add any word over here?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Rishabh and Gajanan have asked that, do the employer ask about these portfolios? Gajanan, Rishabh, I can tell you from even my own side, right? And a lot of hiring managers, etc., who I know. Generally, what happens is that as an employer, what they are looking for is someone who does little more than what is minimum required. 99% of the people only are interested in doing what is minimum required, right? Such portfolios and such projects being having a good internet presence on that is very powerful. If I have 5 resumes and if one of them have these such links, most likely that resume is most likely getting shortlisted. Of course, the content and quality of the project is important. It has to be, it has to be very polished. It should not have broken links. It should not have spelling mistakes, right? And even the content of the case studies has to be high quality. But these portfolios are definitely very, very impressive. Even if I'm taking someone's interview, in the interview, if I am during the interview, most interviewers will always be referring to your resume. If your resume have one such link, I'm definitely going to open that. And if I open that, definitely I'm going to be very impressed about it, right? Most people do not put this extra effort, right? What gets very impressive is someone who is putting that extra effort, right? A lot of people try to just hack backward. That someone would say that just put link to GitHub, I have seen people who have put GitHub to empty GitHub profile. Right? There's nothing on GitHub. You have just created an account. You have an added link there. Don't do those things. But if you build a thorough portfolio with solid content of real projects that you have built, it is definitely very, very impressive.
Abhimanyu has mentioned here is definitely useful. First of all, to answer your question, Gajanan, I would like to say that yes, employers do check these portfolios. Uh, if if they have obviously they have got time to at least go through your link. If there are 10 resumes and only one of them is mentioning a link that leads to a portfolio, then definitely they are going to check through it and see what you have done, what skills you have mentioned, and that gets you an upper hand to look forward to it. Also, to explain in simpler terms, what we see is according to the normalized distribution that we know, like most of the people fall into the average category. And if you're doing the bare minimum, as Abhimanyu mentioned, you fall into that curve, the more people. So in order to get recognized or at least noticed by the employer, you need to fall on the upper hand of it. So yes, they do notify, go through it. Yes, I will be sharing my resume over here or on the WhatsApp group. For Python codes, I use like Scalar only is sufficient, I guess. Also, like you can go through another sites as well that are over there, like Lead Code and all. The previous company, to answer your question, Bunch, yes, the previous company, Clario, is my uh, work from home opportunity, but the current one from ZS is a kind of hybrid opportunity. So, yeah, I will be joining it. Yes, Akash, you can check my portfolio. To answer your question, Vibha, yes, Power BI and Tableau is also somewhat important because not completely important, but it would be a part of your data science and machine learning engineer profile because eventually at one point of time, someone or the other person will ask you to uh, like build a simple dashboard for the team or something. So it's not much to learn, but it's good to have it handy. Yes, Prashant. So even after your experience of 8 years in IT, I would like to mention that you have to, what I would like to say is you have to vary it according to the position. So if you have developed a project for ETL pipelines, then you're applying for a data engineer role, then you should highlight that project into your profile so that it will get highlighted and you'll be noticed for it, which can eventually lead you to at least land the interview and then forward with it. Like at least just not mentioning it, you have to have those skills pretty good so that you can answer any each and every question that is thrown at you from the interviewer. So that helps a lot. Okay. So Upinder, yeah, actually talking about communication skills, it's good to you have to interact with people, be it any platform, and you have to be ready. What like your communication skills improve with your skills, actually technical skills. If you're having good skills, then eventually your communication skills improve because you know what you're doing, and when you know what you're doing, you don't hesitate in order to share them with people. So that is what I would like to say. Public speaking is what is required, I guess. Yes, hi Sunil, please add any word to it, I guess.
Hi, Nishant. Sure. I think one common theme that I see across the questions that are coming in is that, about making that transition, right, from a non-data science role to a data science, data analysis role. Could you shed some light on the kind of job you were doing at Adani? What was your nature of work like? Uh, what part of that work experience did you put on paper in your resume, which helped solidify your profile? Maybe we could take a step backwards there, given the kind of questions that are coming.
At first, as I said, that I have entered into the working space from Adani Power. I worked there as a graduate engineering trainee, but as you can see, like it is nowhere linked to data science or data analytics or anything related to that. So I put what I did there. I there was like for a brief period of 6 months, we were developing a schema for how the water, like it is a power plant, so it was mostly related to steams, water cycles, and all those things. So we provided a solid documentation to the plant, which can be used by multiple personal persons who will be joining in the future to the company. So that is what we did. And I just mentioned that only. But what I would like to share is uh, not only your technical skills are tested, sometimes your soft skills are also tested. So I was thrown a question of how did you face any conflicts of at your workplace? So I mentioned a particular scenario at this place only from Adani Power. So even those get tested, not only technicals.
Right.
Yes.
So when you mentioned that there are a lot of schemes that are getting built and so on, right? Did you correlate any of your work experience with a data analysis role that you're currently applying for? Did you pick out certain things saying these were certain problems that I solved, this was the approach that I used while at Adani, while as a graduate engineer trainee? Could you give some
Yes.
insight around that? Exactly how did you put across your experience, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Nishant, you've gone on mute.
Yeah, got it. Sorry. So, if I speak about that particular question, the question was like, how did you resolve a conflict that you had at your workplace? So, what I answered to that was like a typical question, behavioral question that you are asked in multiple interviews. So, I answered like I put forward a view, but one of my teammates was not having the same view. So, eventually, like I'm giving a gist of it. So eventually we just settle in the middle ground and move forward with it, which is both having the both perspectives of mine as well as the other person who is conflicting. So even, no conflicts are raised and everything gets settled. So that is how I have answered. Like I have put forward the gist, but I guess that answers the question.
Correct. Got it. Nishant, one other point you had mentioned in the intro, right? When you took a break, you were trying to figure out, how is the market, where is the market heading, what are the top skills in demand, and so on.
Yes.
What was that wow moment that made you realize that data science is where you're going to be heading, right? There's a whole bunch of things that are trending in the market right now. Software development is one, data science is one,
Yes.
product management is one, right? So how did you isolate data science as your go-to step for the next phase in your
Yes.
career?
Yes. So, like when I started looking out, like what place or what space should I enter into again? So first thing popped onto my mind was like doing something with data because as everyone was saying at that time, data is a new oil and all those things. But that eventually got into my head. But I worked on it first of all, and I checked the validity of it. Like yes, even most of the things are data subjective as of now. Like any particular decision that a company or even a startup is taking for their betterment and growth needs a data scientist over there, or at least an analyst who guides them that okay, this is happening with our company or in the outside world, and this is how we should proceed with it, which involves technical skills as well as your soft skills as well. So that I found quite suitable for me because I, even though I had a career gap of 1.5 to 2 years, but I have been an active learner and I had great communication skills in my college era as well. So I thought this can be a niche that I can move forward with it. So yeah, I went forward.
Got it. And for somebody looking to transition from a non-data science role to a data science role, right? The preparation and the curriculum, pedagogy, everything, right? There's a whole lot of commitment and motivation needed to go through the entire thing, right?
Yes.
How was your entire preparation journey at Scalar?
Yes. So, first of all, what I would like to say is like trying to transition from non-tech to tech, like going for a data analyst or business analyst position. First of all, you have to have that perseverance with you because eventually things take time. As Sunil know, I have been bugging him for months, like what is happening and all those things, the market scenarios and all. I guess good, the things are good now, but like heading north as of now. But yes, things take time. You have to persevere a bit. You have to hone your skills a bit more because whenever you get an opportunity, you don't want to lose it. That happened with me as well. Like when I was preparing, sometimes I was distracted with all those things. So I was not fully prepared. Still, I've sat for interviews and all. I missed a bit of them. I missed a test or two. But then I got to know that yes, if you are getting an opportunity, you don't have to miss it. You have to prepare yourself such that you don't have to miss it. You have to be fully prepared. That's it. That is what I am willing to say. Like I know you're getting very rare opportunities, but make sure that you yourself are ready. So even if an opportunity comes to your face tomorrow, that okay, you have been presented with this, then you should be confident enough that okay, I'm going to crack it, even if they carry out the whole process within a day.
Right. So coming to the job hunt part, right? One part that you really did a deep dive on and walked all of us through is the portfolio section, the
Yes.
website that you had, the landing page that you had for yourself, right? But otherwise, how did you go about your job hunt? Were there things that you did over LinkedIn? In fact, there was a question around that as well, right? How do we identify fresher jobs and entry level jobs on LinkedIn? Could you talk about that part as well?
Y-
Because the scalar part is quite clear. There's a careers hub where jobs are being posted and stuff like that. But I'm sure there's
Yes,
a lot
yes.
of behind the scenes work that you are doing on LinkedIn and other job portals as well, right? Maybe if you could touch upon that, that would be very helpful.
Yes, for sure. So, Kshitij, talking about a question, what I would like to say is, I've got opportunities from Scaler as well as LinkedIn as well. I won't say that I've got a plenty of them, but eventually I got opportunities like Swiggy and Uber from LinkedIn as well, because of this only. Like whenever you reach out to a recruiter or an HR, okay, first of all, they try to find something diverse in your resume or your portfolio. So the first point of diversification being is your resume. In your resume is your portfolio site. Whenever you mention it, they try to go through it. At least, I don't know, like even if they give you 20 seconds, that is enough for you to impress them. Okay, so that is like, yes, this resume is having something different. He has worked on these many skills. If he is mentioning them, then definitely he's having something, at least something of it. So that is how you differentiate your profile from them. And yes, I know there are most of the jobs are for higher seniority only, but companies like Uber or Amazon as well, these people do post and jobs on several intervals, but not everyone gets the invite. But in order to at least get a test, you have to differentiate yourself from the others, and that is how the portfolio comes into play.
Got it. Did you reach out to anybody on LinkedIn? You just mentioned something around recruiters and hiring managers, right? Have you tried cold reaching somebody, a cold message to somebody, and so on? What did you do, and how was the response rate, and so on?
Yeah, so first of all, getting ignored is a part and parcel of the thing. You will be ignored multiple times, so you have to be ready with it. And most of the times, like let's say I had an interviewer reach out to me with a particular opportunity at a startup. It was not so good, so I had to eventually ignore that thing. But most of the time, what you can do, just check out the LinkedIn page of all the companies that are there. Let's say I would like to put forth an example of Uber, let's say. So if they are posting some sort of entry level job on their particular jobs portal, so you just go there and apply to it first of all. And if they are not responding, try to filter out the search with the HRs at Uber and try to reach out to the scaler people who are working in that particular company. Let's say what I did was, let's say I'm applying for a company for, let's say, Uber. So what I did is search out the people who has like studied at Scaler, or at least there is some connection with him, and write a message to him like, okay, that it would be good if we can connect, and I would require your help regarding this particular job role, and all those things you have to mention over there. And eventually some of the people help. Not all of them help, but some of them do help.
Right. I think that's a great idea, Nishant. Making use
Yes.
of the vast network that we currently have as a part of the Scalar ecosystem. I think that's a
Yes.
fantastic idea. The one key input, in fact, for the general audience that we typically see, the most successful cold reach outs when you do so on LinkedIn primarily involve two or three things, right? Rather than sending out a message saying, hey, can you please refer me to roles inside your
Yeah,
company?
yeah.
Being
Yes.
more specific has a greater chance of yielding results, right? Hey, my name is this. This is the role that I want to currently apply to. You provide a
Yes.
link to that role. And then you give one or two lines about why you're a good fit for that role and ask for help to
Yes,
represent
yes.
that particular role, right? I think that is a fantastic point from your side, Nishant.
Yes.
Abhimanyu, hi. You had some questions. You had some.
Yes. No, I just wanted to add something to what Nishant said. There's a powerful tool that often many people do not use. I'll maybe share my screen and show it all to you, which probably Nishant might have used. If you go to
Yes.
LinkedIn page of Scalar, right, as you would see, there's a section called Alumni, right?
Yes.
Now, within alumni section, as you will see, there are already 8,900, almost 9,000 people who have put their name as that they have studied at Scalar, right? Going here, you can search by their, like, by any company's name. Let's say, for example, I search for something, let's say Amazon, right? When you put that filter, if you scroll down, you will see all the people who are currently working at Amazon and have mentioned in their education somewhere that they studied at Scalar, right? If you see, this is a fairly large list, right?
Yes.
For most of the companies, you will find such people, right? A good idea is
Definitely.
that you can reach out to these people, right? Again, understand that not everyone might be using LinkedIn every day. Second is whether they respond or not is also dependent on how your LinkedIn profile is, what is your
Yes.
quality of outreach. Make sure that one, your LinkedIn profile is really polished. It does not look like that you do not even have the picture, there's no description. For example, once you have created these portfolio links, etc., you put them on your LinkedIn, right? You keep posting good posts and articles related to data science on your LinkedIn profile also. With this context, when you reach out to someone, let's say even if someone reaches out to me, if I see a profile where there is good amount of activity related to data science field, the person have been posting about what they are studying, what they are learning in data science, they have links to their portfolio on LinkedIn, then I know this is someone serious. He is not just someone who is just bombarding everyone. I don't know whether the person really has any knowledge or not, but I know this is a serious person who is enthusiastic and passionate about data science, right? And then when you reach out to these people in reference that, I am at Scaler, maybe some of you who are top performers in your batch at Scaler mention that I noticed that you also studied at Scaler. I am in top 10 or top 5 people in my batch. Here I have the skills I have learned. I am requesting for a small help. There are these specific roles in your company which I see are open, along with the job ID, right? You do not want to say just refer me. Now you are telling the person ki go search in your company which roles they have open and refer me. Why would someone do that hard work for you, right? Do that hard work yourself, that these are the specific roles I'm interested in, and I'm very grateful and thankful if you could help me with the referral or guide me what could be the best way to apply for those roles. If you follow this effort, if you put this effort, then there's much higher probability that instead of, let's say, otherwise if you just send message to 100 people, probably 5 will reply. But when you contextualize it more, then probably out of 100 reach out, probably 10 or 20 people might respond back, right? So I think these are some of the inputs which help much better. Rishabh, Scalar Slack is there, but to be very candid, the issue with Slack is that one, you don't know who is working where today. That information is available on LinkedIn. Someone will definitely go and update their LinkedIn whenever they change the job. It's possible, let's say, for example, Nishant was working at Clario. After 1 month, he will be at ZS. He will probably not go and update that in Slack, right? But he will definitely update that on LinkedIn. So if you search on LinkedIn, then you will find, okay, Nishant has joined ZS now, and if there's an open role at ZS, maybe I can reach out to him, telling him that I'm already learning really well at Scalar. I am high performance student at Scalar. Here is my portfolio. Could you help me with the role which you already see is open at the company, right? So those kind of activities input substantially increase your chances of getting noticed, getting ahead. But do use this feature, like for most large scale companies, let's say even if I put ZS Associates here, again, most likely we'll have a lot of people working there. Again, Nishant, even for you, for example, if you see, there's a lead software architect of ZS who have mentioned Scalar in their education. Senior software data engineering at ZS, data science and machine learning. There's so many. It's such a powerful community. So here, but of course, do not spam people. Reach out with context, with clarity, with good profile being there on LinkedIn, right? Quick question to all of you. How many of you think that today your LinkedIn profile showcase that you are a deep data science enthusiast? Give me a thumbs up if you feel, or maybe even share link to your LinkedIn profile here. That, my profile, I'm already actively posting about things related to data science, writing articles related to data science, or I have certain background. Those who do not have that, start doing that, right? Your profile is very, very important. You just have knowledge is minimum, it's necessary, but not sufficient, right? There might be a lot of people who have the knowledge, but if it is not visible to the world, why would someone talk to you, right? So having a good portfolio, a polished LinkedIn profile is a very powerful tool for that. Back to you, Nishant. Sorry for interjecting in between.
Whatever Abhimanyu has mentioned is pretty useful, actually. Eventually, we are not supposed to spam the people that we have been learning with. But as Abhimanyu mentioned, that you need to be clear that what are you mentioning in your profile and how good your profile looks. That is what is matters, because learning in public is what can help you land as like at least an opportunity from the recruiter's side. So, like, if I give you a perspective, like if someone is asking me to refer in Clario, what I would first of all see is like, okay, this person has asked me to refer him in Clario. I will just go through his profile. If I see nothing, like no personal projects, no profile photo, or not even a description, not anything, like no efforts put for the LinkedIn profile, then eventually I will just ignore it and move forward. But if I get a message from a person who has built everything, it looks nice, at least looks nice, and then at least I will give it a thought and ask him like, okay, you can share your mail and sorry, share your resume with me over this particular mail, and I'll refer it, you to the company or the particular job that you're asking me. So that is how it plays out.
Nishant, there was another question, especially in your context. How did you justify the career break? How did you position that
Yeah.
scenario while applying?
Yes, so I was actually expecting this question to bounce up today as well. So first of all, I whenever I am put forward to this question that okay, how like why did you took a career job of almost 1.5 to 2 years? So the career job I like the career break I took started from June of 2021, where all those second wave and all those things happening. I was looking after my family at that time, and eventually I tried to build a startup as well. Like it was into finance domain, but it didn't go well. So eventually, I had to move back to being like coming back to the corporate job. So uh, I have been telling the truth, which I guess is good, rather than making up some things like okay, I was preparing for IAS and all those things. I have seen people do that. So please don't do any fake things. Just tell whatever is the actual scenario that you have been through. And I guess being honest has helped me a lot. So that's it.
To add to that, I think what is important that is if you have a profile which stands out, it's not
Yes.
just claiming that I have, I am great, I'll do great a job at job. What people want to see is what have you done so far, right? Now, in one
Yes.
case, it might be, let's say, someone's job experience. But even without job experience, if you can take effort to build a strong LinkedIn profile, something as simple as, let's say, if you build a good LinkedIn profile, you are writing very knowledgeable posts on that, naturally you will have a lot of followers, right? If you create
Definitely.
a very good portfolio where you are showcasing what all have you done, it takes care of all the career gap issue. Because
Yeah.
now as a hiring manager, I know that this person is proactive, hardworking. Even if he was not or she was not in a job, she is putting it so much effort, putting it so much content out, and clearly he or she has the knowledge, right? Then I'm
Yes.
interested in talking, right? Rather, it shows that you have much more high agency, that you are not just saying, see, what I have seen is that there are one set of people who just keep thinking, ki, right now, so how can I do anything? Once I get the job, then I'll prove myself. In
Yes.
today's world, that is not so. You can prove yourself even when you are not in the job, right? Internet is your playground. If you write good quality articles, if you write good quality posts, if you build good quality projects, you put them together in a portfolio, that shows the employer that you are high agency and you are hardworking and you can do things. So focusing on that, building knowledge, necessary. But then also start applying that knowledge even when you are not in the data science room. That is what fundamentally I think Nishant did, right? And
Yes.
once you
Yes.
have that,
For
then
sure.
you can simply say that while for whatever circumstances, for some it might be a personal reason, for some it might be professional causes, but so whatever circumstances, I might not have been in a full-time role, but I have been using my time at its best to learn and apply both, right? So that
Yeah.
is the key. You do not need to hide or lie at all. That's not needed at all.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I think those who
Eventually.
attended the session last weekend with the lady from Indore who is now working at Razorpay at Data Analyst, in my conversation, she also mentioned that soon enough, she also had, I think, 3 or 4 years of career break, right? And what she mentioned was that when I start thinking I have a career break, that is why there's a problem, I realized it is an excuse to myself. And
Yeah.
that is stopping me from focusing on what I need to do. We have to remove it from our mind that career break is the thing that is stopping you back. What is stopping you back is actually a strong profile proof of work. Focus on working, building that. If that happens, like there are every weekend we are having someone who has had career break and have a great career in data science.
Yes. Yes. So eventually, what has happened, whatever reason might be there for your career break, that has happened, right? So what you can do is try to build a nice portfolio and put forward what you have learned so far, which can eventually help you land a job at least, like an opportunity at least. So for Shahrukh, yes, I got the opportunity from Clario itself, and okay, so it's good that you have completed most of your SQL sessions. I would like to advise that please do the basics of SQL very pretty clear, like have it pretty clear for you, because eventually that will be asked in your every interview that you go through. Yes, you need to practice outside as well, because even though the Scalers questions are pretty good, and most of them are asked in almost all the interview questions, like even the basic question of finding duplicates, that is almost asked in every interview for which somehow involves SQL in it. So yes, you need to practice outside as well, and there are multiple platforms for it. Both
Nishant,
both the opportunities. Yes.
sorry, please go on. Nishant, given the recency of ZS, where you currently cracked the job, right? Could you walk us through the entire interview process right after resume shortlist? What kind of rounds
Yes.
you had? What was tested in every round? And how could somebody generally prepare for a similar kind of company, right? Maybe if you could double
Yes.
click on that and deep dive through how the process was, that would be very helpful for the audience.
For sure, for sure. So, first of all, what I would like to mention is ZS being a consultancy firm is a kind of a big name in its part. So, I got the opportunity to through Scaler only. Uh, there was a test in which there were multiple sections. Based on that, we were judged. Most of the weightage were given to SQL only. So almost it was a 1 hour test. A half hour was dedicated to SQL, and the rest were having analytical skills, ability like numerical questions, aptitude questions, some data warehousing, as well as ETL questions were also there. ETL as in extract, transform, and load that we use in data engineering. So that was also there. Uh, this one being the first round, SQL was mostly important over there. So I guess I cracked it based on SQL only because I was not so sure about my attitude because it has been time that I prepared for it. But eventually I cracked the code. I cracked the test, and after a week or so, I got the call from the HR of ZS. He said that okay, that you have cleared the test, made the cutoff, and tomorrow we will be taking your interview for the position of Business Technology Solutions Associate, which is more of a data engineer role because it will be involving Google Cloud platforms, AWS, Redshift, as well as data warehousing and ETL. All those concepts will be there. So on the first interview, as I said, that most of the questions for any SQL related interview will start from primary key, foreign keys, and how you interpret the joins. Like they will give you a particular Excel sheet or ask you to have an Excel sheet ready with you, where they will give you some inputs for table A and table B, and ask you how the output of left join, be it left join, right join, or inner join would look like. And you need to be very pretty good with your communication skills. Whatever you are thinking, you need to put forward to them so that they and you are on the same page, and you can move forward from there. Also, be it any interview, there is a question that is most prominent. So they just put why ZS or why Clario or why Scalar. Any company would like to ask you this question. So make sure you prepare that at least so that you create a good impression. And also, what a point that I would like to add is try to mention some figures in it. Let's say I'm interviewing for ZS. So I would like to say that yes, with presence of ZS in over like these many countries and these many years they have been working, these many years of experience, their expertise they are having. So this creates traction for the interviewer as well because they are taking multiple interviews, right? So if everyone is saying putting forward the same info, then eventually you will be lost. So try to differ yourself. That is the point that I would like to add. And apart from that, what I would like to say is that this was the first technical interview where I was asked multiple queries as well as ETL questions were asked. So I had gone through all the questions that were pretty much necessary for a data engineer role. So it helped me a lot. And eventually, after a day, I got a call from Eric, like the HR from ZS, saying that I have cleared the first round of interview. And for this particular profile, there was the second round, which was an EBI round, like behavioral round from the manager himself. So first one being obviously the first question thrown at you will be introducing yourself. These days, these people are asking, like modifying the introduction, like they will ask you some other questions as well, like please tell your hobbies and what you do in your free time, and some random questions so that they know that you have not learned these intro and actually speaking from your heart. And after that, he asked some pretty basic SQL questions related to these keys and duplicacies and all those things. And in behavioral questions, he asked me some questions related to teamwork, uh, like my views on particular things. And also, a guesstimate question was also asked. So, focusing on that part, I would like to say you need to be prepared with guesstimates as well as product based, like product analyst, like what we have learned in the product analytics module at Scaler that you need to have. Also, the puzzles that we have at GFG or Prep Insta, those help a lot because eventually the guesstimates and puzzles are asked in almost any product interview. So you need to have idea about that as well. So as the poll says that any one of you has practiced on guesstimate problems, we can see that almost 80% of them has not heard about or used guesstimates. But I would really like to tell you people that yes, you need to practice guesstimates. There is a channel called uh, I don't remember the exact name of the channel from YouTube, but I'll share the link of him as well in the group chat. But I would like to mention that yes, you need to prepare guesstimates because eventually practice will make you perfect. Because these questions are pretty hypothetical. Like they'll ask you what is the weight of an airplane, or how many flights take off from Pune airport, or what is the length of roads in Nagpur. Whatever questions come to their mind, they can ask you anything. So you need to be prepared. And uh, a quite tip that I would like to give about guesstimates is that you need to think it out loud. Like whatever you are thinking, you have to put forth to the interviewer, so that you and the interviewer are onto the same page, and then you can move forward with it. There is a particular structure that you need to follow for guesstimates, and I guess you can learn from that YouTube channel that I'll share with you. Also, do focus on puzzles as well.
Got it. Uh, Nishant,
Yes.
one of the points that you had mentioned some time back was in the initial stages of your job hunt, there were some rejections
Yes.
that you had faced, right, at some round or the other. So my question is
Yes.
around rejection handling, right? How did you go about it when you found out that you had lost due to some topic or the other, right? How did you course correct? Uh, uh,
Yes.
what is your mind space at?
Yes.
What corrective steps did you take? And obviously, correction is like an iterative process, but how did you go about it?
Yeah, for sure. So whenever like Sunil was in constant touch with me during that time, I guess I spoke with him multiple times regarding this that okay, I'm getting this opportunity. I got this opportunity. I lost it because certain reasons, some silly mistakes that I did as well. Uh, it like you talking about scale and getting an opportunity through Scalar, you will have to apply to multiple opportunities. And it's not like you will just apply to a random one and you'll be getting through it in the first instance. You'll have to apply for multiple opportunities. You will get shortlisted for some, you will get interview for some, and you will be rejected for some. So what you have to do is like in order to take a corrective course, what you have tried to do, like you are supposed to do is first of all focus on what went wrong. So like 8 months back or something, I had went till the final interview of uh, local, the business analyst position at local as well. So I got rejected in the final interview. So what I got, like whatever the feedback I got from the recruiter was like you were not so thorough about it, like the guesstimates and all those questions. So eventually I had to practice them all and then again get back for the next interview, prepare for the next interview. So that is how you have to take it. You don't have to take all those rejections negatively. You have to take the feedback positively and work on it so that you can prepare better for your next interview.
Nishant, if you could also share what was the guesstimate question asked to you in that interview, and reflecting back, what was the mistake that you had made?
Okay, so I vaguely remember the exact question, but it was somewhere somewhat relating to how many burgers would be sold in an McDonald's at an IIT, let's say Delhi. So that was the explanation that I gave him after him asking me the question. But I followed the population approach for that particular guesstimate. But I overestimated all those things, and that is where I guess I went wrong with it. So you need to have some numbers in your mind. I'm not saying that you need to follow the approach. You need to have a particular structure that you need to follow. But along with that, you need to have a sanity of what you're trying to say. Let's say it won't make any sense if I say 1,000 flights take off from Pune airport, right? Because it is not an international airport, it's a domestic airport. So all those things you have to take into mind. And let's say someone says that what is the road map, like length of roads in Nagpur. So you need to have a sanity check or a number for the area of Nagpur. Then you can move forward with it. You need to have a definite like a ballpark where you can aim at. Not particular answers, but you need to have a ballpark. For that
Yeah.
particular question, I just went through. Yeah.
Right. I can add one thing that particularly in the guesstimate questions, the two layers is one is that you are not supposed to just throw a random number, right? You are not
Yes.
supposed to put ki, "theek hai, I'll assume that in IIT Delhi there will be 5,000, right?
Yes.
The approach has to be, you have to derive it some input value, right? As Nishant was saying, that let's say if someone is asking you what could be the total length of the road in Nagpur, you could start with,
Yes.
let me look at what is the area of Nagpur. Then I
Yes.
may look at what is the population of Nagpur, right? Because higher the population, probably there will be higher density of road. Lesser the population, there will be lesser density of road, most likely, right?
Yes.
And another important thing is that during this discussion in the interview, keep asking for validation from the interviewer as well, right? Uh, like, does that make sense? Should I factor in anything else? Right? Tejas, for example, is asking, can you ask him about the number? So you are not asking him to give a number, but some of the input numbers you can ask him for. For example, if you are estimating the total length of roads in Nagpur, then asking that what is the area of Nagpur? That's a okay question, right? And and validating that, do you think this will correlate or not correlate? There could be certain numbers that you start with, that this might be a, like there is this saying in data science that correlation is not causation, or causation is not correlation. So sometimes ruling out some of the options that you might start with, but then you say that it might be correlated, but it might not be causing this much, right? So it has to be, you have to keep saying what you are thinking, what is your logic behind what guesstimate you are doing, right? Guesstimations are for business analyst positions or data analyst position, very important. For some of you, you might be too early in your batch, so you might be just, let's say, learning Python or initial version of MySQL, etc. So it might not be covered yet. That's okay. Don't worry about it. But understand that practicing on guesstimate questions will be very important. Another good thing you all could do is that do these guesstimate question problem solving together with each other, kind of mock interview rounds with each other. Pick up any problem. Guesstimate, the good thing with guesstimate is that you could do a guesstimation problem on anything, right? You may just think about that, how many fishes should there be in a lake, right? Or let's say how many particular brand of motorcycles would there be on the road in a particular city on a date. It could be just anything, right? Similarly, on medium.com, etc., if you search for guesstimate, data science guesstimate problems, you will find a lot of very high quality results. I think, Nishant, you have shared this techno managers.
Managers. Yes. 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 So whatever guesstimates he has put forth, no, those are pretty concise one, and you can get an idea how the questions can be and how you can answer them as well. So please go through his channel, and it's quite good. I guess most of my answers that I've given to the questions from his perspective only, and it is pretty good. Try to learn from the very basics that he has put forth, and you will be able to go forward with it. Also, please make sure that you go through all the puzzles that are there into the Prep Insta or GFG as well. Give a Sunday or give a Saturday, just walk through all of them. And whenever there is an interview, it won't take more than half an hour of you to revise them all. So be prepared for that as well.
Right. Nishant, question from Preetham, broadly summarizing, right, whatever we covered so far.
Yes.
Essentially around rejections at the CV screening stage itself, right? Is there really any opportunity in data science or data analyst who have zero experience, zero relevant experience? Almost all the companies are rejecting me before even the first round of interviews, saying they need experience in data science or analysis. I think, Preetham, as Nishant mentioned, this boils down to what experiences, what what experiences outside data science where you currently work you can link with where you want to be, and of course the projects and the skills that you picked up as a part of the course. Nishant, maybe if you wanted to add on to it.
Yes, whatever Sunil has mentioned is pretty quite accurate, I would like to say. And yes, there will be rejections, but you have to hone your resume such that it won't get rejected at the first round of the interview. And what you can do for that is use Scalers, the what we say portal where they have been making the suggestions of adding some like words or numbers into your resume. That helps a lot actually. Even if the ATS, you have to make your resume ATS friendly. That is what I'm trying to say. So yes.
uh,
So Kshitij is asking, yes.
sure. Kshitij says, I'm interested in machine learning. Is it possible to get into ML as a fresher?
I guess Sunil would be more accurate to answer this question.
Right, Kshitij, yes, that option is always there. In fact, even very recently there was a job post around ML intern or something like that, right? Yes, of course, as long as you've picked up the necessary skills to apply for that role, I think you should go for it.
Yes.
Question from Priyadarshini: what all skills are required to become a data scientist as a fresher? I could see most of them ask for AWS, Azure, etc. How much should we be prepared for it? Nishant, you had also mentioned, right? ZS, there were some topics that
Yes.
had come slightly out of syllabus, right? Maybe if you could add on to this.
Yes, for sure. So yeah, even if you're going as a fresher for data scientist position, you would be required to have some uh, cloud platform in your portfolio or whatever, being like AWS, like the Redshift that they have, also Azure Databricks and GCP. GCP is also being asked in multiple interviews as of now. So it's not so hard. Eventually, those are the tools. So learning them won't be a good bad hard thing for you. Just go through it and you will be able to make sure that you know it.
Next question from Venkata, pertaining to notice period. Nishant, have you faced this challenge? Especially when you're moving from Clario to ZS, did you have any notice period
Yes.
related challenges?
Yes, actually. So I had been pretty lucky with it. I was on a probation period with them. So on my last day itself, I put my resignation. So my probation was like my notice day was 30 days only. So yeah, but they're still making me like they're asking me to serve 60 days. But I am asking them that requesting them for an early release because if they don't do so, then eventually I'll lose my opportunity and it will create a ruckus for me as well. Because getting like cracking ZS and getting an offer is not like you can do every now and then. So you have to request them that yes, this is how it's going to be, and ask them for a buyout if possible. So that is also there.
Right. So just to add on, this is a common challenge that a lot of people face. Venkata, what we have seen typically works is that one, having a good relationship with your manager always goes a long way
Yes,
in freeing you up, right? As long as you can have a candid conversation with your manager, I think some sort of negotiation can be reached at that point.
yes,
Secondly, if you do really well in your interviews, companies will also be open to notice period buyout, right? Like Nishant also mentioned.
yes.
So there's a second option which is there. Third option, slightly harder to navigate, but if your company is really being very adamant that 90 days, then I putting 60 days you'll have to serve and so on, right? Uh, Try checking if you can try offering to hire your replacement. See, why does a company want you to stay for 60 to 90 days? Essentially, they want to find somebody to do your job. They want you to do the KT, which is why they want you to stay for about 60 to 90 days, right? If you can offer to offload that effort with your own by being proactive about hiring your replacement and so on. In fact, you can reach out to us if you want to hire your replacement at your company. You can just post the job on Scaler. I'm sure we'll find a lot of people that are interested to apply to that particular job, and we can help you out with that as well. So between these three options, I think most people find a way. So there is hope, even if you have 90 days notice period. It is just about doing the right things at the right time. Question from Gokula: kindly share your resume for reference. I think your LinkedIn is updated, right, Nishant?
Yes, it is updated, and I'll post it on the groups as well, so it won't be an issue.
Sure. Question from Bima: how many months of effort did it take for you for this transition? I think that's a very specific question.
See, you can't count it first of all because I joined Scalar in August 22. I landed my first opportunity, which I cracked, not the one I got. The one I cracked was on October 2023. So it took time, almost a year, for me to land a job. Won't be the same for everyone here. Someone will have it quite less. Someone might have quite longer than that. But that depends totally on you and the market situations as well. So if the market situations are good, then you will be getting it pretty easily. But yeah, it completely depends. But you have to make sure that whenever you are getting an opportunity, you don't have to miss it. First of all, you have to be prepared for it. That is what I would like to suggest.
Question from Gajanan: nowadays, more job opportunities in data engineer roles rather than data analyst. What are your thoughts? Good to go either with BA or DE roles. I think it's a matter of personal choice, Gajanan, but Abhimanyu and Nishant, if you'd like to add your inputs.
I have one point of view. There's no such thing as that there are more opportunities in data engineering or data analyst. Often it's less more of a fear of missing out, that those who are already doing data engineering, they start thinking, oh, there are more opportunities in data analyst and not so many in data engineering. And other way around, that those who are kind of more in the data analyst, they might be thinking there are more in data engineering and data analyst, right? If you are good at really solid with what you do, then there are always opportunities. If you are mediocre, if you are in, let's say, bottom 50% or bottom 30% of the skill in that domain, then there is always struggle. What I would say is that don't get confused about too many things. Whichever domain you are excited about, enthusiastic about, and have a background in, Just double down on that and try to be the top 1%, top 5% expert in that field. Right? If you are expert, every field have enough opportunity, and you do not like it. Doesn't matter whether there are 50,000 opportunities or 10,000 opportunities. You want one, and if you are really good, then you will have it. Right? So having a strong portfolio, a strong profile, a strong skill set, that is what matters. Focus on that.
Vikrant says, Nishant, any questions around DevOps or MLOps in any of your interviews?
No.
No.
As of now, I have not faced any of them for these particular roles that I have gone through.
Should we learn cloud end-to-end certifications as it takes months' time, or data science focused topics for cloud platforms? If so, what good resources would you suggest?
I think that's
See, for,
about it. Yeah, Nishant, please go ahead.
yeah, please go with it, Abhimanyu. I would not have much to say.
Yeah. Priyadarsini, my opinion is that, see, if you are targeting, depends on what kind of roles you are targeting. If you are targeting a data analyst role, in my opinion, not a lot of people will be asking you whether you know AWS or Azure, etc. Right? If you are targeting roles which are more on ML ops side, however, you should only target those roles if you already have background in that, right? Uh, and in that case, also generally, like your prior real experience matters most. So while of course learning anything is good, I would not say that you should not learn that. But if you are targeting data analyst role, then it is better not to be distracted and focus on getting really strong with MySQL, visualization, Python, all these tools rather than investing your badminton, cloud, etc. too early. Again, if you need more specific guidance, feel free to message me on Slack. Send me your resume, basis your journey, background, etc. I can give you more personalized guidance. Nishant, maybe from your experience, you can also share more in the context of data analyst role. Do you think for data analyst role, learning cloud, etc., would be useful?
No, I don't think because eventually all these cloud platforms move towards more toward data engineering platform and not data analysts.
Yeah.
So you should focus on what is useful for you as of now. Let's say in your current role, you're supposed to learn. Let's say Amazon Redshift, they're asking you to do. So that you can learn from any YouTube channel there is on YouTube present there on the internet, and just move forward with it. That is how you should play it.
I think next question from Mahima is, I think Nishant, you can answer that very well. That Mahima's question is, how can we get project to put on our CV before we have the job? You did it thoroughly. You had so many projects even before you got into the job.
Yes.
So maybe share about
Yes.
how should one get started on this.
Yes, so I'm sharing my screen for you, Mahima. So first of all, what I would like to mention is even if you're not getting a job, right, there are multiple projects on, let's say, Kaggle or YouTube. Just go there and find any data set that you have and try to employ what you have learned through, be it at Scaler or wherever source, whatever source that you have. So let's say this is not taught at Scaler, right? Like creating a dashboard, completely a dashboard that is employing a particular business problem. That is what I have done myself. You have to learn from your end as well. Yes, Scaler is providing you resources and they are like having the good what we say tutors for you. But eventually, you'll have to put some efforts in order to get some projects from outside as well. So let's say this is a PhonePe data analysis project that I have done. So in simple terms, what I would like to put forth is just I got the data from Kaggle, the well-known site for data sets. Just got the data and try to make as much sense as I can from it. Let's say I just built three KPIs only here, but these are the KPIs that the metrics that generally any business would look at. Let's say there is a year-on-year growth KPI that we have here. Also, the total transactions and the total transaction amount that we have represented, also how the growth has performed with different years as well. So this is how you play it. First of all, you have to have a business acumen for it. Okay, these sort of questions should be asked at any meeting of a particular startup or any company that is there into play. So yes, you have to have some business acumen for it, but you'll get the data from anywhere, be it Kaggle or YouTube as well. So this was the like pretty easy project that I have created. Also, it's not like that Scaler has not provided projects to you, because as you can see, this Aerofit business case was from Scaler only. Like in our cohort, this was created. So I have used that only to in order to represent that. Okay, I have done this project. Uh, so as you can see, I have mentioned just a GitHub link, GitHub as well as the project link. So anyone can just go there and see whatever I have mentioned over there, whatever visualization that we have created. And this is done in the cohort itself. I have not put any different efforts from that. So yes, that is also helpful. And as you can see, there are uh, in any product-based companies, no, they generally try to do RFM analysis, the one we have learned in the product analytics module. So I have created a project on that as well. I guess there might be some discrepancies in my analysis and all, but yes, I have at least tried it. So if you try to apply for any product-based companies, so and they see RFM analysis on your project portfolio, then obviously you'll be given attention to, and try to create nice covers for it as well, because it creates quite an impact for that as well. That is what I'm willing to share with you.
Follow-up question on projects from Nagendra. As a fresher, should I focus on putting more projects in the resume or focus on quality of the projects, even if the number of projects is less? Nagendra, I don't think it's one versus the other. I think a mix of both would be handy. But over to you, Nishant.
Yes, for sure. See, as Sunil mentioned, you have to keep a mix of both. I have only mentioned 2 projects on my resume, but once a person lands at my project portfolio or my landing page itself, wherever he is possible to get through, then he will eventually move through all of your projects, right? If you have made it presentable, right, then he will move through all of your projects. So make sure you mention less but valuable projects on your resume.
Question from Satya Teja. Is Python much essential for data analyst? If so, which topics of Python would you concentrate more?
Yeah, Python is somewhat essential for data analysis, because eventually playing with data is what you will be doing at any company given. And be it any PySpark or any tools there are, eventually at least basic level of Python you will need to have, be it Pandas, NumPy, or any libraries that they employ. So be ready with it, like have some knowledge of it.
I can emphasize this. I have been while I am not a hardcore, like I have been a technologist, I may say, have dabbled with data analytics, data science, software engineering, all of it. But MySQL and Python, these two will be your friends and big support throughout next 10-20 years if you are going to be in the domain of data science or technology in general, right? Even today, as early as today morning, I wrote some MySQL queries to extract some data to make some decisions. As early as last week itself, I wrote some Python scripts to extract some data to do some analysis, right? I have been doing it for 15-17 years now. So make sure that you build very good comfort with MySQL and Python for sure. There's no limit to it. You will keep getting better at it every year, even at the job. But these two will always be foundations. So make sure that you give good focus on these two. Other tools, let's say all other tools, framework, libraries, they will keep changing. Every 2-3 years they will change. But MySQL and Python is definitely going to be around forever.
Yes.
Harish has a good question. Sir, can we arrange a lecture on how to set our LinkedIn profiles for freshers, as I am totally new to the field? Sunil, I think that's a good input. Harish, in general, however, see, even if you look at Nishant's journey, while he had finished his engineering in 2020, but he didn't have any data science specific profile. Best is that you should look at all these LinkedIn profiles of people who have been through the journey, and your goal is replicating the same things. Of course, you are not copy pasting. Don't do that, right? But try to do similar activities, try to build a profile in a similar way, try to build similar case studies, whatever you are studying, write about that, post about that. That's the path. But definitely we could organize some sessions on creating a polished LinkedIn profile as well. Nishant, maybe this question from Anushri you can take.
Yes.
That how important are hypothesis testing and statistics for a data analyst role? And by any chance, if you remember questions from your previous interviews.
Okay. So I won't be able to remember any question that I have from my previous interviews. But yes, hypothesis testing is quite often asked in any interview which employs data analysis, because eventually, if you're supposed to handle any business interview, let's say business problem that you have at your product-based company, then there will be scenarios where you have to choose between things. And most of the times it would be A/B testing, because they tend to test features. Let's say if A feature is better than B, then you have to like after getting all data from the site, the click-throughs and all those things, you have to get through it and eventually put forth your view that, okay, yes, this is what I'm inferring from all the data. and this is how the company should move forward. So you will require hypothesis testing for all those things. I guess the questions from Scalers, the short crash course on statistics would help you a lot, because I practiced the questions from there only, and created a separate hard copy or a book for myself, which I refer every now and then for any interview, because it gives you a high level idea of how the questions can be. I guess this helps a lot.
I think broadly we have covered most topics here.
Yes.
Shant, if you were to quickly summarize, let's say somebody has an interview, let's say 3 or 4 days from today, what would be a cheat sheet? Assuming that somebody has covered all the classes and done whatever is needed to be done on the project side and so on. If
Yes.
there's a sure shot interview coming up in the next 2-3 days and somebody needed
Yes.
to most of the time left before the interview, what would be a cheat sheet? What would be the topic
Yes.
they should quickly cover, and how do they ensure they put their best foot forward?
Yeah, definitely. So what I used to, let's say, if I am informed that okay, in 2 days or 3 days I'm having an interview for this particular role at this particular company. So first of all, I tend to search about the role, what is there. Like let's say in case of ZS, I was let's talk in terms of ZS only. So when I came to know, I had very short time on my hand, like only a day to prepare all the technical questions for it. So first of all, I just went through Glassdoor or Ambition Box and looked through it. Like okay, these are the sort of questions that are asked over there, and then I try to prepare it for my end. And after that, you try to get a high level idea of how the questions can be. Let's say if you're trying to if you're expecting some guesstimates, try to revise them. And if you're expecting some puzzles as well, try to, as I told you earlier, like if you have given a Sunday to it, then you can just revise it within a half an hour to hour, all the puzzles that are there on the GFG or Pretinsta portal, and that's it. Also, I tend to keep a notebook, like let's say a notepad handy with me. So whatever questions I feel like this can be asked multiple times, or these are definitely or sure they can be asked. So the list of questions goes like introduce yourself, what are your hobbies, strengths and weaknesses, and definitely why and the company's name. So this is definitely the question that you will be facing. So you must prepare those in order to crack any interview.
Got it. Abhimanyu, anything else from your side? We're towards the business end of this call.
No, I think thank you so much, Nishant. Maybe we can just take
Yes.
the rest of the questions and end the session.
Yeah, for sure.
Bhima Shankar has a question that seeing ML engineer roles, they're asking for tools about ML flow, Kubernetes, etc. How can we manage all the tools as a fresher in this domain? Bhima, net, if you are looking at a job role, you have to do the mapping that how many of those do you have knowledge on, right? There might be few things that you might be able to do on your own. If not, then that in a way means that that's not the best role for you, right? So there might be different roles for freshers versus different role for people who already have experience in that domain. And it's important that we are also putting our effort on the right roles, because there might be millions of different roles, but we have to narrow to and apply to roles which are relevant for us, right? So if there is a role which is acquiring skill sets in domains which you have no exposure to, you there is no point applying to those, because you cannot learn everything that is out there in the technology in one go. Right? You have to get started with what you have learned already.
Yes.
Gokula has a question, Nishant, if you could share the preparation material, PDF, etc., whatever you have, I think publishing that in the WhatsApp will be very helpful for the community.
I'll
Gokula,
try. I'll definitely try for this. Yes.
uh, currently, how is the market for job hunting? Akash, entirely depends. See, market is market. You know, it always moves its own pace. It's not in anyone's control.
Yes.
Right? There are companies which are hiring. If you are really good at what you do, definitely there are open roles. But at the same time, if you are, let's say, if your current role is good for you, you are satisfied there, keep an eye open. If you find something better, apply for it. But sure, it does not matter that everyone have to immediately switch the job, right? Very depends on the context and nuances. Those who are actively looking for a new job, etc., there are jobs in the market as long as you build a solid profile and strong skills, right? At the same time, if you are already at a comfortable position, and if you want to, let's say, explore 6 months more and then seek better opportunities, that also makes sense. One thing I would definitely emphasize on is, irrespective of job market, you should never compromise on the performance in the current job, prioritizing the job hunt, right? Sometimes people make that mistake. Where you are, making sure that you are performing well, you are stable, and when you get a superior opportunity, that is when you move out. That is better strategy. Sometimes in the just spending too much time on only applying and compromising on the performance at the current job, that puts you at a very stressful situation, right? So irrespective of the market, etc., that you should never do.
Definitely.
Satya Tej has a question. I am from the science background. How do I project myself during the interview that why I have chosen non-science job? Satya, again, it's totally okay, right? Like as long as you project that you are a hardworking person, you are a curious person, and you have the knowledge and skill and commitment needed for the next role. You do not need to hide or lie about your past experience. In our country, there are a lot of people who might have studied something, took up the job, whatever you got at that time, and that is totally okay. So that is my advice. Nishant, Sunil, if you have anything to add to that, please.
No, that's good.
See, again, if you just take example from Nishant, he did his engineering in electrical, did an internship in electrical domain as well. Fine, the life situation, events, needed of life, family requirements, etc. He couldn't continue that. He learned data science thoroughly. He's making a career in data science now. What matters to I as an employer, I can tell you that what matters to me today. Are you someone who have skill set, knowledge, commitment, willingness to work hard for the role that I'm hiring for or not? I don't care what you might have done 5 years, 7 years, 3 years earlier. Right? That does not matter. So don't, even when someone is asking you about that, they are probably only trying to gauge. Are you committed to what you are doing today? Are you really enthusiastic about the domain that you are applying in today? Or are you just exploring it as you are only chasing money, wherever I get money, I'll do that? Because sometimes that might mean that you join and you do not end up performing at the job. As long as you build confidence to the hiring manager or the employer that you will be able to perform at the role, you will be hired. Second thing, as Nishant was mentioning, every rejection, there will be some rejections that are bound to come. Anyone who gets a success, they will have many rejections. People take rejection in two different ways. Some people will take it as an opportunity to learn. They will try to identify what went wrong there and improve on that. Then even if you get rejected, you are definitely getting closer to success very fast. Some other people would think that, why should I think what went wrong? I'll just keep applying more and more. I'll just keep giving interview, and magically someday I'll get selected. If there is no lottery here. If you are performing well in the interviews, you will get selected in almost all. If you are getting rejected, means there is something wrong that is happening. We have to improve on that, right? So don't have that ignorance that if I got rejected, there is nothing that I need to improve on. Take that as a learning opportunity. Try to analyze what went wrong. Reach out to Scaler team. Reach out to your mentor that this is what I was asked in the interview. This is how I responded. Can you help me even, let's say, identify that what went wrong, right? Write that down, share it with your fellow batchmates. Good thing is that within Scalar community, there will be so many people within batch itself who will be able to guide you, right? So use those opportunities. Third set of people who just get frustrated and negate, like, start feeling bad about it. Make sure you are in the first category who take positive learning opportunities even from any rejection. Be it a rejection in an online test, be it a rejection in an interview, or at any stage, right? If you are not hearing back from any company after interview, means something went wrong in the interview. Companies often do not bother to even respond back to people who got rejected. Again, there is no point getting frustrated about that. Just try to reflect back what we could have done better and use that as a learning opportunity. Right? Vikrant has a question. Did you opt for MS, Master of Science program at Scalar? I don't have knowledge about that, Nishant. Maybe you can tell.
No, I have not opted for it as of now, but if time permits, I would like to pursue that option.
Age matters. No, man. Short answer, no, it doesn't. As I was saying, what any employer cares about is whether you can deliver at the job you will be hired for or not, whether you show true intent and passion towards the job, because any employer is not hiring you for 3 months, 6 months, they are hiring you for years. So they want to build conviction that you are committed to this domain, you are enthusiastic about it, and in the long run, you will add value to the company. Right?
Yes.
Gokula content will be shared. So Preetham, even when the resume is not getting shortlisted, as Nishant was saying, that it is about then building the profile further, right? So we have to keep iterating on that. That how do we build a profile that stands out, right? Again, take help from mentors, alumni, your batchmates, a skiller team. Reach out to help for them. That what else can I do? How else can I, let's say, make my profile stand out? My LinkedIn profile, creating a portfolio, creating better profile on Kaggle.com, creating a more polished resume, right? All of these are inputs. Maybe send your resume to me on Slack. Happy to review it, give you certain inputs. Ultimately, as long as you have a profile that stands out, that is the input, right? If it is standing out, it will get shortlisted. If it is not getting shortlisted, means it is not standing out yet. Every month there are thousands of freshers as well who are getting shortlisted and who are getting the job, right? We have to figure out how do we get there. Cool. Lastly, I think let's take this last question. That how were you able to negotiate the salary? I'm sure that would have been a discussion. And while too early, guys, don't worry about that too much right now. Whenever you are in such a situation that you have few offers, you have multiple offers and you want some advice on that, which one should I go with or how I can negotiate. Most importantly, if it is your first job, I would say do not go heavy on negotiation. You want to get foot through the door in the industry first. As for example, Nishant got into Clario first. I don't know what your salary was. May or might not have been a very extremely high, hefty salary. But if you are get entry into the industry, then switching into much better jobs becomes much easier. And when you are already doing something, then negotiations becomes much easier as well, right? So as they say that negotiations are easier when you have options. When you do not even have options, then in negotiation, you might even lose out opportunity that you have in hand. So don't do that.
Yeah.
One thing that I can share is I have spoken to learners in the past who had an opportunity. They said that, no, I will not take this. I minimum, I want this much. Company might say, okay, then we are not interested. Thank you, right? After 3 months, the person might be now following back on, can I get even that opportunity now? And if you are not in the domain already, take whatever is better than where you are today, and you will keep growing, right? So negotiation is a thing when you have options. Negotiation is not a thing when you don't even have any other options. All right. Any insights from your negotiation discussion, Nishant, in your first role versus the second role?
See, I have not played much on negotiations, first of all, because getting into the, as Abhimanyu mentioned, that getting your foot through the door is very much important because as my gap was increasing, I took whatever they were offering me. So it was not a negotiation for me. And what I was expecting was, obviously it was high, but they have given me a pretty decent CTC, considering it was a work from home opportunity. So I took it because I'm seeing people who are joining for 10,000 or 25,000 as an intern. So considering that, my offer was pretty great at that time. And even now with CS, I'm getting pretty decent CTC that they have offered. So no negotiations were played from my end because that is how I wanted to play it.
Yeah, important point I will re-emphasize, guys, particularly those who are not in the data science industry yet. Once you enter, then negotiations get easier. But if you,
Yes.
in the very initial opportunities itself, if you negotiate heavily, I would say even if as a first opportunity, even if you are getting an intern, it's okay. Take that because it gets you foot through the door, right? Once you build
Yes.
some industry experience, then getting into better roles gets much easier.
Yes.
I will maybe
Your
share
negotiation.
a very personal thing. Make a guess how much might have been my first salary when I started 15 years back. I can tell you it was not very high. It was rather only 5.5 lakhs a year. That was my first salary when I started, right? But I'm very lucky. I consider myself very lucky that I got into that because I learned a lot. Within 6 months, it doubled. Then within another 6 months, it doubled again. And then within another year, it almost doubled again, right? But if I had not taken that first job, then probably I don't know how and when I would have even gotten started, right?
Yes.
So for the first job, prioritize quality of work as long as it is something in the domain you are getting a chance to learn, take that. All the people who I have seen who said no to such opportunities, 99% times end up regretting later. All right, cool. So I think thank you so much, Nishant,
Yes.
for joining in
Yes.
today. very insightful session.
For sure.
I'm
Yes.
sure, guys, that you all would have found it helpful as well. And then I think in this context, Nishant is there in those DSML group 1, etc. as well. So Nishant will be very, very grateful if you could keep sharing learning resources,
Yes.
good articles that you come across will be very helpful for all others. And of course, all
For
of you
sure.
as well, if you come across a good article, if you write a good article, if you write, kind of good post, uh, please share, because in a way, collectively, we can learn so much from each other and grow collectively a lot more. Right? Thank you, Nishant. Thank you, everyone, for
Yes.
joining in. All the best, and
Yes. Yeah.
hoping to be hosting many more of you in the sessions in the future weeks,
Yes.
maybe 3 months, 6
Yes.
months down the line. All the best. Take care.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Thanks, Nishant.
Thank you. Thanks a lot,
Thanks,
Arvind. Thanks a
Nishant.
lot, Sunil. Yeah. Yeah. Bye.
Check out Scaler's masterclass by industry leading experts only on Scaler's event page. Link is in the description below.